Hello everybody and welcome to part 11 of What if Izuku Midoriya found the Omnitrix. If you're new around here, which you probably aren't since this is part 11, please consider subscribing. And if you enjoy the series, hit that like button to show your support and see the series continue on forever. If you haven't missed any of the previous parts, there'll be a link in the description below and the annotation above. In the previous episode, Midoriya's Omnitrix was malfunctioning during his final exam. He, with the help of Bakugo, managed to turn into Atomics after a while of trying to transform. But after returning to normal, Atomics was gone from the active list. In another location, pretty much at the same time, Midoriya, or at least someone who looks like him, was ruthlessly beating and even killing some members of a villain organization known as the Forever Knights. After finishing with them and leaving to a restaurant to get substance, Albedo is approached by a man wearing a nice suit that sits next to Albedo. The man says, "I heard you were looking for Izuku Midoriya. Why is that?" Albedo says, "I need something from him." "Why? Do you have any information that would be useful to me? Like his whereabouts, for example?" As Albedo already prepares to beat the answers out of All For One, thinking he's just some normal human, All For One says, "No need for that. I do know where he is, but seeing as it is a very hard place to get into, I have a better proposition for you." Back at UA after the exam, Mina, as she sobs, says, "Everyone, I'm hoping to hear all your stories of how fun camp was." Midoriya tries to comfort the people who failed, saying, "Maybe you can still go, there might be a last-minute twist or something." Zero says, "Stop, Midoriya. By saying that out loud, you're just jinxing them." After a bit more class deliberation, Aizawa takes the stand and explains that there is a last-minute twist, since everyone is allowed to go to the training camp in the woods. After Aizawa is done with the explanation, all the students go, like the school day passes and all the students go home. While they prepare to leave, everyone mentions that they still need to get some stuff for the trip. Toro then proposes them going to the mall to get supplies they need. After that interaction, the students agree to meet the next day to go to the mall, and all go home. Midoriya enters his house and says, "Hey, I'm home," and tries to go straight to his room to, I don't know, do homework and stuff. His mom says, "Izuku, could you come here? We have a guest." Midoriya wonders who it could be, and after leaving his backpack in his room, goes to the living room, where he is surprised to find Ben. Ben, with a Mr. Smoothie in hand, says, "Sup, Midoriya?" Midoriya says, "Hi. What are you doing here?" Ben says, "I wanted to talk to you. Want to go for a walk?" Midoriya agrees, and after thanking Inko for her hospitality, they both leave. Walking through the streets, Midoriya asks Ben, "So, what did you want to talk about?" Ben pulls something out of his pocket, a small disc, and lays it in the palm of his hand. The disc shows a hologram that shows Midoriya fighting, beating up, and killing a lot of Forever Knights, in a place with cameras. Midoriya stumbles back, saying, That wasn't me." Ben says, "Of course not, I was just asked to double check. I already knew based on how the Midoriya on the video feed uses his transformations, and his fighting style is completely different to yours. Where were you at this time?" Midoriya says, "I was taking the practical part of my final semester exam." Ben asks, "Did you pass?" Midoriya says, "Yes." Ben says, "Congrats, dude. Come on, I'll buy you a smoothie to celebrate." As they walk towards the Mr. Smoothie, Midoriya asks, "Didn't you just finish a smoothie?" Ben says, "Yes, but I haven't had any in months. Do you know how many smoothie places there are in space? None!" At the Mr. Smoothie, Midoriya asks Ben, "What do you think is attacking those knights?" Ben answers, "Don't know. There are tons of weird stuff out there. It could be a shapeshifter trying to frame you, an alternate universe version of you, or I don't know what else. Anyway, take this." Ben hands Peter a plumber's badge. Ben continues, "It's a plumber's badge, at least a rookie cadet one. If you come into contact with this guy, you have the authority to fight him and arrest this guy. Plus, the badge acts as a communicator as well, so if you need help, just call. I mean, you could do the same with the Omnitrix, but just in case you don't think of it." After finishing their smoothies, Ben takes Midoriya home. He leaves to go home himself and gets a call from on the way from Grandpa Max. He picks up saying, "Hey Grandpa, well, as I told you, it's probably not him, it doesn't match him, and he didn't seem to lie. But just as a precaution, he has the plumber's badge on him. We can track his moves." The next day at the mall, the students get together to buy the stuff they need for the camping trip. At the mall, the students do break into smaller groups, each looking for different stuff, until only Midoriya and Uraraka are left. Midoriya says, "Looks like it's just us, just you and me left." Uraraka agrees, and Midoriya asks her, "So what are you going to shop for today?" "I want to find some heavier wrist weight so I can up my training." Uraraka says, "I mostly just need some bug spray." Uraraka remembers what Aoyama told her in the practical exam and rushes off, leaving Midoriya alone there. Midoriya goes around to do his shopping normally, not running into anyone of note. A couple days later, UA Aizawa says, "Now that we have finished your first semester at UA High, it's time for summer vacation to officially begin. However, don't think these will be months of rest for you heroes in the making. At this camp you'll be pushed to go beyond your limits. You're aiming to be plus ultra." The whole class says, "Yes, sir," to Aizawa. Uraraka goes to Midoriya and says, "I'm so psyched, I've been looking forward to this camp all semester, Deku." Midoriya gets flustered and covering his face he says, "Oh yeah, it's definitely close, huh?" Uraraka asks, "Hey, what's the matter?" And Midoriya says, "It's just a little hot." Uraraka thinks back to the interaction between her and Aoyama in the final exam, and she gets flustered and runs back saying, "Let's hear it for camp!" And the class starts cheering. Nanomech comes up saying, "I heard some of Class A are taking extra courses. Does that mean you failed? How embarrassing, especially since you're supposed to be so much better than my class. All you must be wallowy in shame." And he is hit over the head by none other than Kendo, who says, "Don't mind him." The two classes greet each other and then they get on their respective buses. In the bus, while everyone goofs off, Midoriya does one of his favorite pastimes, fiddling with the Omnitrix, and by fiddling with it, he puts the code accidentally for Guy. After an hour of driving, the bus stops. The students take the opportunity to stretch a bit and think it's just a pit stop. Mineta looking for a bathroom when the wild pussycats appear and present themselves, at least Ragdoll and Mandalay. Aizawa says, "These are the pro heroes you will be training with on the training camp." And Midoriya starts freaking out about who they are and explaining it. Mandalay says, "We own this stretch of land, everything you can see." She points out a specific spot and says, the place you'll be staying at is right there at the base of the mountain." The class says, "That's far," Uraraka asks. "Then why did we stop all the way out here instead?" Tsuyu says, "I'm afraid we both know the answer to that." And Sato says, "That can't be right," as Zero says, "Back to the bus, quickly!" Mandalay looks at her clock and says, "The current time is 9:30 in the morning. If you're fast about it, you might make it there by noon." The students try to run away as Mandalay says, "Those kittens who don't get there by 12:30 won't get any lunch." And they are all thrown into the forest by Pixie Bob's quirk. While they are falling, Mandalay says, "Good news! Since this is private land, you can use your quirks as much as you want. You got 3 full hours. You should be able to make it to the facility at that time. That is if you can get through the beast forest." Midoriya runs into the forest trying to find a place to pee, but is attacked by a giant mud monster before he can. Koda tries to stop the monster with his quirk, but it doesn't work. Midoriya quickly turns into Fasttrack, swooping in to save Mineta. Then once he is saved, turns into Wildvine, telling the trees and other plants to destroy the monster. Or at least restrain him, but he ends up destroyed. The trees surrounding the monster, tightening it up until it collapses into many pieces of dirt. Realizing that it's all a test, the students decide to work together to get to the camp. Midoriya switches into Echo and makes 36 copies of himself to be able to help everyone out at the same time. About 5 hours later, the students arrive at camp, 2 hours faster than the main version of event, thanks to Midoriya. But they are super tired. Once they arrive, Pixie Bob says, "Meow meow meow meow." I thought it would take you kids a lot longer, but you did much better than against my dirt monsters than I expected. You guys were seriously great, especially the three of you, she points at Todoroki, Bakugo, and Midoriya. Although the one in the green-haired boy, did the best. She jumps at Midoriya saying, I call dibs on this kitten, I'll groom him myself. Midoriya spots Koda and asks who he is. Mandalay answers and Midoriya goes to introduce himself, only to get punched in the nuts. Midoriya reflexively turns into Ghost Freak so that and the fist kind of passes through him. Koda then turns and leaves. After the interaction, the students go to dinner and the hot springs to relax. Mineta can't resist himself, so of course he tries to peek at the girls' bath sign, but is stopped by Koda, who is watching the walls. The girls thank him, but upon seeing them, he stumbles and falls. Midoriya quickly reacts, turning to Ghost Freak and catching the boy. Midoriya takes him to Mandalay so he can receive medical attention since he is unconscious, finding out Koda's life story. The next day at 5 o'clock in the morning, Aizawa gathers his students outside and asks Bakugo to throw the ball again. Everyone thinks he's going to throw it super far, but Bakugo only throws it 709.6 meters. Zero says, that's it? Kind of disappointing. Aizawa then says, you've had a single semester at UA, and due to your experiences, you have definitely improved. But those improvements have mostly been due to mental prowess and technical skill, with a slight increase in stamina thrown in along the way. As you can see, your quirks themselves has not improved much on the fundamental level. That's why we are now going to focus on improving your powers. This will be so hard, you'll feel like you're dying. Let's hope you survive, as Aizawa grins. Midoriya goes to Aizawa in private to voice some concerns. Mr. Aizawa, I think there may be a problem in this training, seeing as I can't really train my different forms, as every time I turn into them, I return to a basic form. They don't really evolve. Aizawa says that shouldn't be a problem. I know exactly what you'll be doing. This version of events, Midoriya spends his time training his own body, as Aizawa saw Midoriya's power can malfunction at times, so he trains to fight as himself. So they do that, and aside from that, Midoriya learns how to reflexively switch quicker, so that he can improve his reaction time. The day passes, and at night, Midoriya goes to have some interaction with, goes to have the interaction he has with Koda in the main version of events. The next day, training starts up again until night arrives. The students gather to do the test of courage, all but those in the remedial course. But unbeknownst to them, close by, a group forms. Albedo asks, is everyone here now? Dobby behind him says, almost, we're just missing one. Albedo says, if you dolts aren't already in 10 minutes, or 10 of what did you call it here, minutes? Then I'll start the attack without you. Dobby says, got it, boss. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Please make sure to leave a like if you did, to show you want more of this series, and subscribe if you aren't already. If you have any suggestions, make sure to leave them in the comments below. And until next time, have a nice day, everyone.